no more play on table 2 until 6 o'clock. This is the last match till the final session. We'll have 2 more group matches and then, of course, the semi-finals and the final. We've already got, of course, 4 players in the winners group. Graham Dott.
We know the fortunate 16, or the deserving 16, are going to be seeded to the Crucible, and the rest are thrown into the qualifying maelstrom.
Yes, I mean, there's quite a few players who know they're guaranteed to be seeded, but there's only one who knows when he'll be playing in the World Championship. That's Ronnie O'Sullivan, because the defending champion always plays the first day, Saturday, morning and evening. Everyone else, it's to be decided, but obviously someone like Judd Trump, Neil Robertson, Mark Selby, Karen Wilson guaranteed their seeding. A few others lower down will be sweating on results in the tournaments to come.
Yes, the defence for Ronnie O'Sullivan of the World Championship is going to be very short. Eight months from winning it to going back there.
I think I'm right in saying, though, that in 1970 there were actually 2 World Championships, weren't there? The 70-71 World Championship was played at the end of 1970, so that title defence for would have been Ray Reardon was even shorter.
I think those 2 championships, Dave, one was in February, one was in November, so that's 9 months.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll worry about that maybe nearer the time. I'm sure someone can tell us the exact amount of days involved.
I think Chris Downer might be the prime suspect. If you're listening, Chris, get that almanac out. We badly want to read it.
Yes, Chris Downer produces a Crucible Almanac every year full of extraordinary information. He's working on it, we hear, so look forward to reading the updated edition. Jordan Brown's very excited. He's a big fan of it, and of course he's going to be in the new one because he made his debut last season.
When that almanac comes out, though, I'm concerned for Neil Foulds in particular, our good pal. Gets really involved in it, doesn't he? Loves those dark stats, as he calls them. always the danger with that shot, the double kiss, and he avoided it so narrowly, by a fraction.
Six. Seven.
It was a simple enough pot. Did well though, I thought, to get the correct side of the blue, if only marginally.
$80.
Yeah, didn't quite get the cannon he was looking for, so that's end of break.
Brown. Karen Wilson, 90.
The big thing about that shot was the avoidance of the black, and that was just about managed. Although he did clip the black, it wasn't sufficient to hold the cue ball down the other end of the table.
Well, you were talking, Phil, about the Crucible Almanac. I've got some news for you from Kelly Barker, who's Chris Downer's other half. She says, the new Almanac will be a cracker. More than an hour passed the other night with us just talking about high breaks pre-Crucible. I'm sad to say it was very interesting to people like us. Well, you're our sort of people, Kelly, because that's exactly the sort of stuff we love here. So glad to hear it's progressing. Look forward to reading the new edition. Phil is salivating at the prospect.
Yeah, Kelly's another super fan, isn't she? And we've got to thank her as well. The Almanac really is a wonderful tome. And that's a wonderful shot. There's a match between these two in the Crucible Almanac. First round of the World Championship in 2016. It was heartbreaking for Perry because Wilson won 10-9.
Yeah, I remember commentating on that. It was a very, very good match as well. It really was. It's just a completely different format, isn't it? The World Championship, obviously much longer matches, playing in the first round best of 19, longer than many finals that you'll play during the year. Of course, this league is more of a sprint. Oh, what a terrific pot that is. Brilliant. Really committed himself to that and could not have played it better.
Yeah, great result and really good technique there. I thought he timed that one terrifically. The delivery of the cue was really rhythmic.
I definitely think that's a feature of the older players, the players in their 40s. They've all got that great grounding from their junior days, the technical grounding.
6.
It was drummed into them at a young age. And I think that's the key to the longevity of a lot of the older players.
7.
Barry Hawkins is another one, technically very solid.
14. 15. 21. 22. 27. 28.
The most he can get ahead before tackling the awkward reds is 24. Now though, the awkward reds don't exist. I was just about to say he was perfectly placed
35.
to make that cannon. There is one more horribly placed red, but the blue takes Joe Perry 22 ahead. And I was about to say 2 reds, 2 blacks, he'd be 38 in front with 35 on.
41.
But scratch that from the record, Your Honour. Well, just like the opening red, what a peach that was. And now, a really fiendish snooker is a distinct possibility. Don't know whether the brown pots, if it does, is it worth it? There's the answer, no.
Joe Perry, 42.
Perry would have liked, ideally, the pink to go on the cushion, just for a bit of security, or even the brown, but nothing did. However, he does have a chance here, this red. Not to be. Brought the other one off the cushion. So, his frame is still in the balance.
Well, after the pink that Wilson potted to the yellow pocket at the tail end of the previous frame, this one must seem quite easy, when we know it isn't, of course.
Well, it was a terrific red. Maybe all he gets, but at least he gets to take control of the table. Great pot. I've had a couple of big breaks in this match, but it's also been at other times really hard fought. They're both fighting for every ball, for every point, and that continues here in this third frame. 22 the lead for Perry. Wilson trying to get in behind the black. Well, he's still got a snooker, not quite as good as I guess it could have been had he been tight behind the black. Fancy Perry to certainly hit this red. Well, that's not a kindly kiss on the blue, so he's left a chance for Wilson.
Yes, and even to the point of just nudging the yellow and green a little farther apart as well. That's to Wilson's benefit, and of course he's using the rest, and he's deadly with this. Oh, I'm very surprised. I am very surprised about that, and no doubt he is too.
Well, he didn't really get close to this, unusually for Karen Wilson, so what a chance that was. This still needs potting though, this red. Yeah, nicely done. So Joe Perry, who I think thought he'd thrown the frame away, in fact just needs this blue to leave Wilson needing a snooker. It'll put him 28 in front with 27 on.
Six. Joe Perry 6.
The yellow was a little too hard to stay behind the line of pink and blue. The cue ball not hard enough to get in behind the brown. Good old-fashioned low-scoring scrap and disjointed frame. Well, in the second frame, Perry sailed pretty close to the wind when it came to Wilson gaining snookers. And Wilson has laid another trap here. And this is definitely missable.
He was a bit fortunate there, he just acknowledged that to end up a snooker. Be surprised if he missed this though. We talk about a player needing a snooker, that's of course a successful snooker that gets the penalty points. You might have to lay 10, 12, 15 before you get to that stage. Trying to get in behind the brown. Didn't quite happen, but he didn't leave the green on either. He's yet to lay a really, really good one. Would give Perry a few headaches. Perry trying to lay one of his own here. Yep, so it's Wilson that needs the snooker. But he's in one himself, and although you'd expect him to hit the green, it's about where it all finishes. Well, in fact, he could just clip the side of it. But he has left a chance at the pot. If this goes in, it's 2 snookers required. Wow. Not close, I think it's fair to say.
And he won't be overjoyed about getting the blue into open play, just in case Wilson does get those penalty points. I don't know whether he's aware of this, but if Perry were to win this frame, he would guarantee at least 5th place. And it would seal the relegation of Hawkins.
Wilson 3.
Lovely stuff. Unless you're Joe Perry.
Well, there we are. So all that hard work from Wilson has paid off. He's got the snooker he needed, and now he can win the frame. 19 behind, 22 on. And he's lining up this brown. All that work he's done, he's missed it, he's left it.
Yeah, Perry. Unless he were to miraculously win the group,
No.
at least we're going to see him tomorrow.
Well, Wilson worked so hard to get the snooker, he got it, but then immediately missed the brown, left it on. Joe Perry happy to pop brown and blue to win quite a lengthy frame there. He edges in front here. Of course, Wilson started with the century. Perry's won the next 2 to lead 2-1.
Buying a used car?
Simon Bedford against Barry Pinches, 2013 Aussie Open qualifiers, 449 minutes 46 seconds, and Simon Bedford won 5-4 at just gone 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Grisly stuff. And I guess that match would have just, if that started at 7, it just would have carried on. There was no sort of pulling them off, and they just played right through. I don't know how many referees were involved in that one, but whoever they were, you have my sympathy.
When he popped his head around the door of the commentary box, Wilson actually said, "I'm out there grafting, grinding." I think it does help alleviate the pressure somewhat to know that regardless, he's going to be back for Group 6. The big money in these groups is when you make the playoffs, and that's what he wants the most. Now that is a very modern shot, and it's one that Kyren Wilson knocks in more than most. Terrific. Of course, for Wilson, the primary goal is to win the match. But even winning this frame would help. It's that tight.
Yeah, I mean, he was, you know, entitled to try and get some information out of us, but really, if you're winning, you know, the sort of rewards come, don't they? You can't afford to think, well, if I win the, you know, 2 frames and so on the other table, you can't afford to think that. You've got to just try and win every match, and then, you know, it's no problem then. As you would in a knockout event. In a knockout event, you're just trying to win.
70. $24. $25.
Of course, it's not just Wilson and Perry involved in the fight for the semi-finals. Mark Williams in the conversation as well. His fixtures are complete.
33.
Ali Carter and Ronnie O'Sullivan have no such qualms. They're there, primed and ready for the knockout phase of the group.
39.
Well, what a great chance to force a deciding frame conclusion. And possibly make another century.
$45. $36. $53.
Dropping on that
54.
really helped. Just raised his hand there, you can see, because now he's freed the pink into all of its normal pockets.
$60.
Well, there's a really big break on here. The high break in the group 141, Ali Carter. It's worth £500, unless it's beaten, of course. Karen Wilson can beat it here.
$62. $68. 69. $76. $77. $84. $85.
play that with deep screw and reverse side, which didn't take
92.
the reverse side, so he meant to come wider than that, avoid the red altogether and be on it, as he deprived himself of a century. Oh, what a great pot.
Well, the high break is still under threat. This black for the century. Another one for Wilson.
$100. $101. $108.
What is it? 140, is it?
Well, at the start of the frame he was asking about his status in the group, now he's asking about the high break.
He thought it was 140. I think the referee, Rob Spencer, did correct him and tell him it was 141.
109.
Of course, the referees, it's not their duty to know these things, but I think Rob did tell him.
$115.
So the colours then for a 142.
$170.
And coincidentally, 142 was the high break in Group 4. Tom Ford.
120. $124. $129.
Especially with his back to the wall. What a magnificent break this has been.
135.
It's going to be the highest of the group. So far, a 142 total clearance. What a wonderful break from Karen Wilson. He's levelled the match in style, and we have one more frame to decide the point. Karen Wilson all square with Joe Perry at 2-2.
If you're over 50, you can have the time of your life without worrying how your family will cope when your time is up. Post Office Over 50s life insurance is simple and affordable, and from a name you know and trust. You're guaranteed acceptance if you're a UK resident, aged 50 to 80. And we don't ask any questions about you.
Lasseter to pink to beat Mark Selby 3-2. Then we had the Karen Wilson 3-1 win over Hawkins. And now this.
Wow, that was ultra thin, but he's knocked it in. So Wilson first in the decider.
Round one. Carol Wilson.
Yeah, didn't finish nice on anything, so just the safety. I think what makes this decider a bit edgier is I'm not sure the players necessarily are absolutely aware of the sort of machinations in the table. It's a bit hard to work out, not least of course because Perry's got another match to play, so you know, you've got that sort of going on in the background as well. Apologises because the kiss worked out well. Could have left this on another day. Well, it's already one of these frames where the safety's at the back end of the table, the red's going down the table. No one's gonna, I don't think, push the boat out here as it's the decider. Looks like Perry again just playing the safety. Well, that red is cuttable. He's sort of walking back a little bit annoyed. This red's on to the middle. Karen Wilson having a look at the potting angle. But he doesn't pot it, so Perry, who walked back rather sheepishly, in fact gets a chance.
One.
Now it's all about holding yourself together. An abundance of open balls, both reds and colours. Perry knows he should make a few.
5.
Should make plenty, actually.
Six.
Yes, and remember, if he wins this match and then beats Mark Selby, then Joe Perry will be in the playoffs because he'll go above Karen Wilson. So Karen's going to have a lot of interest if he loses this one in Perry's match with Selby. Of course, Wilson would come back for the next group, but he'd rather have a chance to get into the winners group, otherwise it's going to be a 5th successive group for Karen Wilson. Great match play, good financially, and chance to make more centuries, but at some point he wants to get in the winners group.
And a win for Perry would seal Mark Williams' place in the playoffs. And just as I said that,
Joe Perry 90.
a ball no one could envisage missing does so. Purely pressure, nothing else.
What a chance he had. Will he get another?
They're both feeling it now. Karen missed that red by a country mile. Grossly overcut it.
One. Seven.
Now this isn't such a good chance as the one that Perry had initially. But regardless, he's going to be grateful for it. Very grateful.
Eight. 12. Good.
Well, of course, one thing that's not been an issue for Wilson is break building. He's made 17 centuries across the 4 groups he's been in. Howie'd love another substantial break here. Of course, he made a 1-4-2, the highest break so far. Total clearance in the last frame.
This is the kind of scenario where a half century is gold dust.
60.
Well, that's the only thing. When reds have gone down that end of the table, obviously you're feeding off small colours, so you're not going up in very big increments. But as long as they're going in, he's got some work to do in this frame yet, but it's in his hands.
So. 20.
Not great. Shot, he says, sarcastically. So just the tickle to the black, it would seem.
Karen Wilson.
Leads by 4.
22.
A stereotypical decider. When Perry got in early, I thought it might not be. As Davis said, Perry does have another string to his bow, a match against Mark Selby immediately after this. For Wilson, this is the last chance saloon.
Yeah, and he's going to be sweating, isn't he, on other results? Because he's won 2 frames in the match. Although he and Perry will be level on points, he'll have more frames than Perry, but of course Perry's got that next match to play. Either way though, worst place 5th, he won't be going home anyway. He's still going to be in the bubble for the next group, so it's just a question of whether he's playing again tonight or not.
Turns his head away in absolute disgust. He was woefully short of where he wanted to be. The cut to the middle pocket is pretty thin, which means control of the cue ball is tough.
One.
I'll tell you what, from there, that really is a delight. Backed himself to play that one slowly. Rich dividends could come from that.
Yellow ball.
Seven in front, so if he pots 3 reds, 3 blacks with the open reds, he might have to sneak that one into the middle pocket, which won't be easy from there.
4.
And he will still need a colour off that.
I can tell you that table 2 is getting underway for the evening session.
12.
This is still the afternoon session on table 1, but on table 2, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Barry Hawkins just getting underway. You can watch that match on the Matchroom live streaming service. And there'll be a short break after this match, and we'll be back out with Mark Selby and Joe Perry.
$90.
Historically, Ronnie O'Sullivan not a fan of hanging around, but I think he will have to, because after the Hawkins match, regardless of its length, Selby and Perry could decide
20.
how the semi-finals line up.
Well, I don't know anyone who is a fan of hanging around, but it's better than going home if you've been relegated. Good pot. So he's 2 balls away. 30 in front. Red with pink or black. Perry needs a snooker. But Karen Wilson would like to get on the last red as well,
26.
because it would only be 1 snooker needed. He wants to put this to bed now.
You're right about the pink there, Dave. It really was a cracker, and I've noticed when he's cueing with the cue ball near the middle pocket and knocking balls into the top corners, he's very reliable. Well, he didn't play the kiss on the yellow.
30.
That worked a treat.
Yeah, if this red goes in, then it's over. And there it is.
35.
Good break from Karen Wilson. Joe Perry by no means out of the yet, though. He's got another match to play. But Karen Wilson puts himself on 4 points.
The match. Kelly Wilson.
So Karen Wilson has booked his place in the playoffs here in Group 5 of the Championship League. He was wondering what he had to do, and there is confirmation. He's on 4 points. So Joe Perry still has a chance to go above Mark Williams. You can see there he's won 10 frames. Williams has won 12. So clearly if Perry beats Mark Selby, he will go above Mark Williams. So that is a big match. And it's going to follow in about 5 minutes' time. But Karen Wilson can relax because he has put himself into the playoffs. Our next match, Mark Selby, Joe Perry.
Sky Cinema just gets better and better with new and exclusive Sky original films every month, made with some of the best people around. Morning, Judy.
We're ready for you now, Miss Dent.
Bobby D. Action.
Funny, Victor.